Hey there, Fletch from All Things Overlanding here, and today I am doing a podcast from the car. So apologies for the noise, but today I wanted to talk a little bit about something that I see pop up on social media all the time, and that is the hate for YouTubers. And I know it's funny because I'm making a YouTube video about people hating YouTubers, and it's true to some degree, right? So again, I wanted to touch on, it's not to be antagonistic, it's not to say that there's a right or wrong. Everybody's entitled to their own opinion, right? But I did want to just touch on this topic a little bit and kind of where I think this hatred comes from. And then also talk a little bit about my experience as someone who makes podcasts, YouTube videos, content for social media, right? It's not my full-time job. I have another job, so it's not like I'm doing this, all the time or anything, but it is an interesting topic to me because I have some experience with it. So if you want to hear more about what it's like to be a YouTuber and kind of where all this hate comes from and the real honest truth behind being a YouTuber and what that really means and why people make a specific type of video or content, then stay tuned because I'm going to have some behind the scenes experience for you guys.
Understand where it came from, but you got it, my got it. It began in the land of the sandstorm. I fought it, though I wanted everything to do with what you give to me. Loosening my grip.
All right, guys. So as I mentioned in the intro today, I'm talking about YouTubers, this kind of hatred for YouTubers, and I want to give you a little behind the scenes look at what it's like being a YouTuber and like why we make the choices that we make to make specific videos or, to do gear videos versus like, general help videos or modification video versus a DIY gear video, that kind of thing. So I'm going to touch on all of that, but let's start a little bit with the hate for YouTubers. Then we'll move on to kind of what influences us YouTubers and what the honest truth and kind of how to spot different things with different YouTubers. And then we'll finish up with kind of my final thoughts on this topic and just sort of see what everybody thinks. So as far as the hate for YouTubers, it's kind of funny because YouTube is totally free, right? Like it's one of those things where it's like people get all this content. It costs them nothing to get that content. They don't have to do anything. If you don't like the content, you can simply click off of it and go watch something else. Like there's nothing that says that you have to watch a specific YouTuber's content, right? So that is one thing that I feel like people don't understand, right? Is like they'll watch something or a video or two or four from you, and then they're like, all this guy does is make content about the Midwest, because I'm in the Midwest, right? And they're like, why don't you make epic, videos of overlanding trips out west? And I'm like, well, because I'm not out west, right? Like I'm trapped here in Indiana where everything sucks and I don't want to be. And I would much rather make interesting, sort of like trip videos and things like that. But I just don't have it's not a possibility for me because of where I live, right? And to be fair, this is not pointed at any person. There was a guy that had a really funny interaction with me on a Facebook group where this kind of all started. And he was like, man, I wish that this guy talking about my channel would make more, trip videos. And he's right. I should make more trip videos. I have an Overlanding YouTube channel, but I have, a 15-year-old and 12-year-old. They're in swimming. Like this coming weekend, the weather's going to be beautiful for the first time this summer. And we are literally an hour and a half away from our house, staying in a hotel, from Friday midday through Sunday afternoon, because we're at this swim meet, right? So like, would I rather be out shooting content? Yes. I mean, no, I don't want to miss my kids' swim event. I want to be there for them and everything, but I wish that their swimming events weren't every single weekend, which is what it sort of feels like it is. So, I'd love to be able to better manage sort of my life along with, the things that I have to do for the YouTube channel and the content that I can produce, that kind of thing. But sometimes life gets in the way, right? And that is just a fact of life that, you're going to have things come up that maybe aren't exactly what you want to do or maybe interfere with the YouTube content. So that is a thing that is interesting to me, right? Is that people talk a lot about, I wish this channel did this or I wish they did that. And then they kind of complain about that stuff, right? Which again, is their right. But again, I would say to those people, like, if you don't whenever this topic comes up on like a Facebook group, right? It's always, hey, I hate YouTubers for overlanding because they're all sellouts. They all have unattainable rigs. Like these are kind of the common complaints that you hear over and over and over again, right? Is that you know, once they get sponsored, they've got $200,000 fully built, you know, adventure vehicles, and they're doing this and they're doing that, and they're going to Alaska, or they're going to Bolivia, or they're doing these things that I can never do. And it's like, yeah, I get that, but like, then you don't have to watch that content, right? Like, that is the thing is, again, YouTube is totally free. Even if you pay for premium, you don't have to, but if you don't want to watch the ads and stuff, you could pay for premium, and then it costs, what, 10, 15 bucks a month? Like, it's still not bad, but then you don't have to watch the ads. But again, if you just don't like the content, if it's not your style, if it's not your kind of stuff, if you don't like the presenter, no problem. You don't have to watch it, right? Just don't watch it. Go watch something else. And again, this isn't meant to be defensive. It's just an observation. Like, I find it really funny that people are like, would rather take all this time to like watch 8 videos from a content creator that they don't really care for, and then complain about it and go on multiple videos and leave negative comments. Like, imagine if you were at your job, right? And you do your job fine. Like, your job is what you're supposed to be doing, right? You're doing the job that you were paid to do. But then someone comes in, they go, well, you know, yeah, you did the thing that, you know, you made a video, you did the task that you're supposed to do, but I didn't like how you did it, right? And I'm not your boss. I don't even work at your job, but I just want to give you that feedback. So you suck. Bye. Like, that's a pretty crappy thing. And it takes a lot. Like, again, if the content is misleading, absolutely, then they deserve to learn from their mistakes and be, you know, left a comment, be left a thumbs down, that kind of thing. But, you know, if somebody just makes a piece of content that you don't like, but they deliver on the promise of the subject line, and it's fine content, it's just you don't like it for whatever reason, then just move on with your day, right? Like, you just don't have to watch it. All right, so as far as kind of the behind the scenes thing, we'll wrap up that first section, you know, talking about people complaining about it. I get it. The internet is a safe space, right? You can complain about whatever you want. There's not really any repercussions. But I will say, like, we are people too, right? Like, I'm a person, and, you know, sometimes I read those comments. If they're really negative and just sort of silly, I'm like, I mean, they don't bother me as much now as they did initially, but I will say initially I was kind of like, oh man, that really hurts. Especially the ones that hurt, and I'm not trying to give you guys tips for how to hurt our feelings, but the more accurate they are, the more they hurt usually, but also the more instructive they are, right? Like, I think early on there were some people that were like, your lighting is terrible or whatever, right? Or like, I hate that intro music or whatever. Music's really subjective. I ignore those people. Like, I don't, sure, maybe it's not your taste in music, but like, I can't make everybody happy. The second I switch it all over to like country bumpkin music because we're going off-road in Wyoming, then I get people that are like, I hate country music. Why did you use that song? You know, so like, I just pick the music that I like, and if you don't like it, again, you can go watch another channel. But so now diving more into sort of the behind the scenes piece, right? So I will say there is oftentimes a lot of reasons why we make the content that we make, right? A lot of that has to do with geographic location. So as I kind of already mentioned, you know, I'm in the Midwest. I don't have a ton of great places where I can go overlanding. Like, a trip for me, especially with the kids and with work and everything, is oftentimes an overnighter or maybe a 2-nighter, you know, a couple hours away to my local national forest. So when I can do that, of course, I try and make like an epic trip video, but I'm not in Idaho. I'm not in Wyoming. I'm not in Colorado. So I can't make those like epic drone footage filled videos, which hilariously, a lot of people are like, I wish there was more story and less drone footage, right? So like, you get complaints about no matter what you do. So for the YouTubers, if you're listening to this, I say ignore everyone, right? Take it all with a grain of salt, learn from it. If you get a lot of consistent feedback that's like, hey, your lighting sucks or whatever, then you should look at that, right? You should try and do your best to improve if you want to, if that's what you're interested in, is getting better and better. But, you know, at the same time, like, you can't let it, you know, poo-poo in your cereal, right? Like, there are a lot of YouTubers that I've seen that were way more talented than me, I think. And they just got crushed by negative content, or they had a video or two that went super viral. And when that happens and you get a bunch of views, you get a lot of new people that don't know who you are, and maybe this is the only video of yours that they've ever seen, and they pass judgment immediately on that one video, regardless of your body of work, right? Regardless of how many videos maybe I made 50 awesome, epic, drone footage filled cinematic masterpieces. And then I make one gear video and they're like, your gear videos suck. You should quit your channel, right? And some of these bigger channels have disappeared or have given up on it or just gotten fed up with it. And it is sort of a constant struggle to mess with that stuff and to just sort of hear, you know, negativity. Now, I will say my experience on YouTube has actually been historically really positive. And I think that's a lot of the reason that I've kept going is for every one negative comment that I get 10 or 15 super positive ones that are like, hey man, this really helped me get out of my funk and I got out and I took a trip and it was awesome. Or, hey man, I didn't know how to pack my gear and this video kind of, you gave your tips for how you do it. And that gave me some good ideas and I'm going to craft them into my own sort of custom approach because I have an XYZ vehicle and I need to, pack modularly. So, I mean, there's so many positive stories that come out of all this that's what really keeps me going is the people that are like, man, that really helped. Or man, I was, really sad because I wanted to get into overlanding, but I didn't know how to do X, Y, and Z. I didn't know how to wire up solar. I didn't know how to pack for a trip. I didn't know how to plan for a trip. Right. And when I make content like that and it helps people, I love that stuff. Right. So that's what kind of keeps me going. So to those of you just watching or listening too, right? Like, again, if you have a really negative take on something, you can give that. If you give it in a positive way that's still negative, like if you say, hey, your lighting really sucks, but here's why I think that is, or hey, here's some tips. I make YouTube videos too, or hey, I'm a videographer and here's some tips for improving your lighting. That stuff's awesome. We love that stuff, right? I love to learn and get better. I would say my videos and content's gotten a lot better over the last 5, 6, 7 years that I've been making the content. When I first started, it was atrocious, right? And I'll flat out admit that. If you go back to season 1 of the podcast, you see me in a dark dungeon of a basement with, like an iPhone 10 shooting my videos. The quality wasn't great. The lighting wasn't great. The audio wasn't great, right? And I'm not saying this video right now because I'm shooting it in my car. I wanted to do it off the top of my head because I was thinking about this. This is a topic that's come up quite a bit, and I had the time because I'm cruising back to my house from downtown from a work meeting. But so that there is improvements to be made. There are things to be learned, and we do want to improve for you guys. But we also sometimes have restrictions like this. This is the perfect example. I am on my way home from work. I'm not going to have time later to shoot a video. I need to get a podcast put together. So the time restraints, the life restraints, the job restraints, those all tie in, right? Like we're just like you guys that are watching these videos. Like we don't all just have full-time. Not most of us, the vast majority, especially in the overlanding space, are not full-time. I would say that the full-timers are very few and far between. There's maybe one for every 500 or 1,000 people. It's one of those things where it's definitely tied into the possibilities that your life affords you, right? Like my job is pretty flexible, luckily, that I work remote a lot of the time. So there are times when I can, put in a little video editing session at lunchtime and stuff like that, but not always. So that's one of the things is, take into consideration that, again, a lot of us are not full-timers. The vast majority of us are not full-timers. We have full-time jobs, we have kids, we have families, we have other hobbies and things to do. So whenever we can, we make these videos, but honestly, we're not at your beck and call. You know what I mean? Again, not to sound crabby at all, but we'll make the content that we can make when we make it, and we hope that you like it. And if you do, that's awesome. And if you don't, you don't have to watch it, right? Again, this sounds overwhelmingly negative, and I don't intend it to at all, but it does beat you down. I've been doing this for years, right? I'm pretty upbeat and positive about it. And again, I get a lot of positive comments, which is fantastic. And really, I love that stuff. Other things that influence it, more behind the scenes type stuff. So a lot of the sort of comments that I've gotten recently is hey, you haven't done a trip video in forever. Hey, you haven't done, even a DIY mod or how-to video or anything like that. You've just done a ton of gear videos. And there's reasons for that, right? There are a couple. One of which, full transparency, there are companies that reach out to us every day, right? And I don't take the vast majority of them, and I never take any gear where they say you have to leave a positive review, right? I actually I pride myself on not even really doing reviews at all. I just do informational videos. So I will do things like, hey, here's this piece of gear. I'm going to unbox it. I'm going to show you all the features. I'm going to show you what I think it would be good for and the kind of setups that make sense to use this kind of gear. And then if that's helpful, great. And there will be a link in the description below. And if not, that's totally fine too. Check out these other videos that I've made on different pieces of gear, right? So I really don't do gear reviews at all because I feel like there's a big propensity by YouTubers to say the best things about gear, to, they've never used the gear. It's all brand new to them. And they're like, this is the best power bank I've ever had. And then 2 months later it dies. And now you feel like a jerk. I don't want to push you guys into buying a piece of gear because of a recommendation that I make that turns out to be junk or that you can't get a hold of customer satisfaction or support to, get your issues resolved, which is the main reason why I just don't do reviews. We get sent gear. I don't know if this thing is going to last for a really long time, but I can tell you the capacity of a power bank. I can tell you the number of plugs that it has. I can show you how it works. I can show you the display, and I can talk about the price point, right? So that's what I try to do, again, is just be informational, but not, hey, this is the best power bank ever. Hey, this is, the only one you'll ever need. Like, I really try and stay away from that clickbait stuff because it's, you know, it's very tempting, because if your videos don't get views, then you don't make money from ad revenue. If your videos don't get viewed, then companies don't want to work with you. So there is some sort of, you know, incentive to do that, I guess. But again, my incentives are, because it's not my full-time job, right? I don't really rely on any money that I make from this channel. I really just like doing the content. I like helping people, and I love getting free gear, right? Like, don't we all, right? But it's taken me years and years and years to get here. But so yes, you know, the amount of gear that we get, the amount of requests that we get and stuff, that does tie into it. Also, I hate to say it, but like, gear videos are easier to make, right? So if you have tried to make a YouTube video before, especially a trip video, you know how time intensive that is. I'm in awe of the, you know, Revere Overlands, the, you know, Baker Overland, the Independence Overland, the, you know, Venture to Rome, like all these guys. There's so many more. I know I'm not mentioning everybody in my Slack group. Everybody in the Slack group that I'm with, we content creators help each other. We talk to each other. We have a whole group of like 10 or 15 of us where we chat about our videos. We ask for thumbnail help. We ask for, you know, what do you think about this subject line? What do you think about this video intro? You know, that kind of thing. And they're all so talented. But I watch their trip videos and I'm like, man, I love it. But like, I know on my Wyoming trip, for example, it took 2 weeks. I had to drive. In the 2 weeks, I drove over 5,000 miles on my brand new 2023 Nissan Frontier. At the time, it had like 2,500 miles on it when I left. It had over 7,500 when I got back. I was over on an oil change that I had to do to the truck from one trip. And it took 2 weeks. I had to take 2 weeks off work, right? I mean, I get paid. I have vacation time and stuff, but I basically burned my entire vacation for the entire year to go on this trip. I shot probably 700 plus gigs of video content on that trip. And I don't even know the hours that equated to, but it was quite a bit of footage. Like, I mean, it ended up being about an hour and 40 minute, hour and 30 minute movie that I broke up into 3 chunks and then put back together into a movie. So I ended up making 3 videos in a series and then later on dropping the full movie. So like, just think about the time that it takes to edit that. And again, I'm very basic, right? Like, I'm not a professional videographer. I'm shooting on an iPhone and like a decent drone, and that's about it, right? Like, that's it. So I'm one of those people that is by no means a professional, and I don't ever proclaim to be a professional, right? But like, I know what goes into those trip videos, and if I could do one every month, I'd love to. But like, if you really think about the time constraints of making videos, right? Like, let's just say, so I live in Indiana. My closest place to camp is 2 hours away for literally just a plain Jane national forest. And that's it. If I want to go anywhere else, even Kentucky is probably the next closest, and you're talking 5 to 6 hours away for that. So just think about that in terms of real life, right? You got a wife, you got 2 kids. They don't want you gone 2 weekends out of the month, 3 weekends out of the month. Like, I work during the week. I can't go on the weekends, right? So like, even if I could go every single month to do a trip video, and I went and I took half a day off on a Friday and I went down there, I'd be down there by dinner time. Then I've got all day Saturday, right? And then I have Saturday night to camp. And then Sunday I wake up and I got to drive home to be home by dinner time. I got to leave by mid-morning, right? So like, when you think about it in terms of like the real world effort that it takes to make these videos, like, and if I do a trip video, it's really hard to also do gear videos in between there. And you've got obligations, you know, timelines. There's nothing about what I have to say, but usually when they send it, they say within 2 to 4 weeks, if you can make a video, that'd be great, right? So you also can't just take all the gear in the world and then just never make a video. Like, I don't want to not deliver. I want to be a good business partner to any brand that wants to work with me. So you have timelines that you have to keep track of. There's a lot of just admin stuff that goes into this, right? I have a whole spreadsheet where I track everything. I've got a recurring daily task on my task thing that I use for work that is just for my videos, where I track when I got an email from a company, when they sent it out, when I received the product, my deadline, right? Is it 2 weeks, 3 weeks, 4 weeks? Is it unlimited? Is it just get it done in the next few months? Is it wait till fall and do a video because it's a heated coat or something, right? So they all have these different timelines. I've got to track all that stuff administratively. I've got to, you know, make sure that, again, I'm being a good partner and delivering for these companies that want to send me stuff. And sometimes those don't go well, right? Like, sometimes those people or those companies send you out a product and it's not great. And then it takes me even more time because I've got to reach out and say, hey guys, this thing is not good. I don't want to make a video about this, right? I don't want to share a bad product with my company. And that's happened multiple times where I will just flat out tell them that. But all that stuff takes time, right? So I understand that watching YouTube is one thing, right? Like, it's one thing to watch YouTube and be like, why isn't this guy making more videos? But there are a lot of things that go into that. And so I just want to kind of give you guys a taste, right, of like behind the scenes, like what that's really like, what all goes into this stuff. Not to mention that on top of just the act of creating the video, you've got to think about what it's going to be about. With the product videos, I build a note stock. I'm a Mac guy. I build a note stock. I copy and paste in screenshots of features of the thing. I learn about it. I mess with the product. I test it out. I use it a lot for like at least a week or two. Like at the minimum, I use it for like a week or two so I'm comfortable with the unit. So let's say like a power bank, so that then I know how to turn it on. I know how to turn it off. I've kind of figured out any secrets or tricks. I know like power usage for different pieces of gear that I use with it, right? So there's that build up. There's writing of a script. If you write a script, I've been doing it for so long that I oftentimes don't write a script. I literally just have the bullet points and then I sort of reteach myself on them because like I can't remember dimensions of a power bank, right, off the top of my head. So I'll have them in a note stock and I will look at that note stock and then I'll pull up my camera and I will say, hey, this thing's 58 by 60 by 24. And then I'll pause and I'll go back to my note stock. Well, then that gives me also a bunch of video outputs that I've got to then bring together, color grade, edit into one single video, right? Make it make sense, make it, you know, like it's a lot more work than you guys realize, I think. So I just wanted to kind of, again, call that out to people. Like, if you are not familiar with how these things are made, you know, as much as I would love to make 2 trip videos a month and, you know, 1 to 2 gear videos a week and a podcast every week, like it takes a ton of time and effort. And there are other things that have to happen in our lives, right? So again, just wanted to share that with you guys. Hope that is helpful and hope that helps shine some light on it. I know that the people that go on like the Facebook groups, the Overlanding USAs, and say, you suck and YouTubers are the worst and they're all just sold and bought and they just, you know, do ads. It's all ads. It's all that they're doing. It's really not. Like, really, at least not for me. I mean, I know that there are some like that, but I think that they're very few and far between. I think that the vast majority of us really just want to help. Like, we enjoy getting the free gear, don't get me wrong, but then I want to tell you, like, hey, this is good about it, this is not so good about it. If you have a modular setup and you need this storage case, it's $150, and this is why that's a good deal versus like a Roam case. But you could probably find cheaper stuff too, right? Like, there's cheaper stuff out there. But so anyways, that's why I think a lot of us really do it with the intention of being really good. And that's how I try and view it. Is I want to share stuff with you guys. I want to share with you guys when I find cool stuff. A good example, the Peak Dew battery for a Starling Mini. It only gives you about 4 to 5 hours of use. So people immediately are like, oh, you can only use it for 4 hours. True, but it's also an uninterrupted power supply, right? So like you can charge through it while it's powering your thing. And with the Starlink, that's important because it's essentially a modem. So when it gets shut down, it's got to recalibrate, reoptimize, refine the satellites and everything. So when you have interruptions in your power supply because you have to switch from one power bank to another, that's a problem. This thing solves that. It's also inexpensive. It's like 120 to 150 bucks for a dedicated battery for your Starlink. It's awesome. But, you know, the comments initially especially are always like, oh, the thing sucks. Oh, the shipping is $30. And I'm like, yeah, but the thing is on sale for $30 off. So if they just said it was 150 with free shipping, would you be happy? Versus them saying it's 120 and shipping's 30? Like, the fact that the shipping is 30 shouldn't change the overall price of the unit, right? Like, it's normally 150 plus shipping, and it's on sale for 120, and shipping is $30. So, yes, shipping is $30, but you're still paying less than you would have at retail price, right? And $150 may be a very fair price for an uninterrupted power supply that also lets you wirelessly, like, move your Starlink wherever you need to. So again, just wanted to share all that with you guys. I know it was a bit of a ramble, but this has all been happening a lot recently, and it's kind of been on my mind. But so I wanted to give you guys that behind the scenes, sort of my honest thoughts on it. Are we all perfect? No. Are some people bought and sold? Yeah, absolutely. I mean, you can see people that just nonstop talk about a specific piece of gear or a specific app and things like that. And I get it, you know, like, again, though, the thing is, if you don't like that type of presentation from a YouTuber, you don't have to watch it. That's, I guess, my overarching sort of learning for everyone is, like, you know, you find the people that you like. There are certain YouTubers that are way more talented than me, way more subscribers than me, and I just don't care for them and I don't watch them, and that's fine. But I don't go on all their videos and poo-poo in their comments about how this sucked or that sucked, like, just let them live their life, right? Like, I'd rather be positive and like support the people that I like than be negative and just go and crap in everybody's comments on all the people that I don't like. So that's just me. But again, I hope that was interesting for you. I'd be really curious to hear everybody's thoughts in the comments below. This will be an interesting one to hear the results of. So post up down below on YouTube. If you're on the podcast, if you're on Spotify, you should be able to post a comment. If you're on any other podcast service, like just go over to all my social channels, which are linked down below, and jump in the conversation over there, or join Newbie Overlanders. It's free to join. Facebook group that I run that has a ton of people in it, awesome people. And I generally, like, every week I'll post up like my most recent video to share it and let other people share their videos. So there's definitely a way to chat over there. Also below this video, if you're on YouTube, is a join button. That's just sort of a passive way to support the channel, get you early access to the videos and things like that. So if that sounds good, check that out. If you'd rather be more involved, there is a link to my Patreon page where, again, we've got 20 plus awesome people and it's a ton of fun. We all hang out all the time. We chat in Discord 24/7. We do a Zoom call once a month and we get together once or twice a year. So if that sounds good, check that out. Also in the description below will be links to my website where I've got funny overlanding camping themed patches and stickers. Things like don't burn your wiener and it's a hot dog, or I hate people so I camp. Yes, I sell patches and stickers. I make, I don't know, 40 bucks a month probably off of that. So probably going to quit my job soon, but that is a cash grab. I guess you could call that a cash grab. But again, I thought they were cool. I make them, I produce them, I order them, I package them, I ship them out to you guys. So there's some work that goes into it to make that $3 off of a sticker, just so you know. But check those out if you're into stickers and patches. I think they're cool. I made them for us, for Overlanders. So hopefully those are cool and interesting. But that will do it for this episode of the podcast. I hope that was interesting for you. I appreciate you guys, and I look forward to talking to you in the comments. So thanks again for watching. Thanks for listening, and we'll see you next time. Thank you.